On behalf of the chairman, I think she went to vote. Now that we're actually trying to get our 15-minute votes in again, I think we're all trying to honor that. Okay. Administrator Zeldin, first of all, welcome. I'm new to this subcommittee as well, and I look forward to having the opportunity to work with you. I want to thank you, first of all, for your willingness to revise the Waters of the United States, or WOTUS, rulemaking. As you know, the last several decades, wetlands that were drained to become cropland prior to 1985 have remained exempt from regulation under the Clean Water Act. The first Trump administration clarified the rules governing prior converted cropland, or PCC, protecting affected land from clean water regulation as long as it was used for agricultural purposes at least once every 5 years. You're going to hear a lot about these ag issues as you come into this position. The most recent WOTUS rule under the Biden administration ended the prior converted cropland exemption immediately upon a change in use. This departs significantly from the flexibility provided by President Trump's 2020 WOTUS rule. I recently introduced the Farmers' Freedom Act to codify President Trump's earlier definition of prior converted cropland. My question today for you, Administrator Zeldin, as you work to develop an updated WOTUS framework, will you consider revisiting the definition of prior converted cropland?
Senator, I'd be happy to follow up with you on that to make sure that we're heeding your calls and considering the merits of your point.
Thank you. And look, I really appreciate your comments on WOTUS and where it's going, and the concern to have some clear definitions laid out that everybody can understand from administration to administration. The ongoing uncertainty surrounding WOTUS regulations has been a major challenge for American farmers, and I've appreciated your commitment to working closely with the ag producers as you undertake this rulemaking process, and I appreciate that. You're going to find there's a lot of folks that want to work with you on that particular issue. My next question, and I want to just go back to something just to provide you an opportunity. There's a lot of us here that really do think that there's an importance to the clean and drinking water state revolving loan funds, and there's a $2.46 billion decrease in the skinny budget proposal that's been laid out. So let me just ask this question on it. Congress appropriates, and we direct, we authorize, and so forth. My suspicion is that Congress will seriously consider reappropriating those funds again. Would it be fair to say, although there's been some suggestions that you're not following the law and so forth, if we appropriate it and direct that it be put back into those revolving loan funds, you'll follow the law and you'll see that it's been done?
Of course, yes, Senator.
Okay. So, I just I appreciate that, because I think, the misunderstanding is that somehow that you're not going to follow a law on this. When Congress puts it in and we say, no, we want it back in, and it should go back out to the states, at that stage of the game, we can count on you working with us to get it done appropriately.
Senator, and I appreciate you raising this point in this example. Congress appropriates funding, and then the agency distributes that funding as it's required to under the law. That doesn't mean from one administration to the next that the Trump administration is going to come in agreeing with the policy priorities of the prior administration that just left office. There might be a disagreement of opinion between administrations, and we come in towards the beginning of a fiscal year. The way that funding will go out over the course of a fiscal year might be applying the new administration's priorities as the American public voted for last November.
Right, and based upon where there is broad latitude provided to the executive branch in the expenditure of those authorities, but where the Congress is more specific in their appropriations, it makes it cleaner and more directed in terms of your ability to decide up front whether it is truly the will of Congress to do it in one particular program, such as these revolving loan funds.
Senator, I love your question, and this applies to so much, from appropriation to policy. If Congress wants an agency to take a specific action, Congress can give an obligation to an agency. I'm here as I was during my confirmation process, and I will continue to come before Congress committing to fulfill all statutory obligations. And if there's some new statutory obligation that's created because of some law that's passed, say, a month from now, our agency will fulfill those statutory obligations. It's a really important point. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, thank you. And at this time, on behalf of the chairman, I would recognize Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you,